Watch the ride.
Hey everybody, and welcome to my review of the UBCO 2x2 Adventure electric motorcycle I've had on loan from English Electric Motor Co for about a week or so to do some videos and a review on. Thanks to them for lending it to me because it's been a lot of fun. I've done videos from the first ride where I giggled a lot, the second ride where I went out in the evening and had an absolute blast, giggled a lot. I've also done a range test mixed with some off-road stuff because this is two-wheel drive, it's designed for off-road. Did the range test and now I'm going to give you my review. Now, as I say, I'm going to do a lot more riding in those videos than I am in this video because I want to try and cover all the facts and figures and keep this as concise as possible. So, the UBCO 2x2 Adventure, I think this is the Adventure variant, is a 50cc equivalent electric motorcycle that you can ride on CBT at 16, or if you've got the allowance through your car licence, because you've got an older car licence, you can ride this without needing to take anything. The base cost of this bike is £5,000. I can point out that this is an extra, and these luggage racks are an extra too. There are some massive bags that go on those that they've given to me with the bike for when I'm reviewing it, but I've had them off because I don't need them. But there is a lot of storage, and I will show you some B-roll of those going on and off the bike. Okay, so this is the luggage. It actually mirrors exactly the same on both sides. These are quite big sort of roll top backpacks. So you've got the big straps over the top, then you have these secondary straps to cinch it all down. So pretty big. Got front pocket here, goes all the way down to there. The bag is held onto the rack behind by two plastic clips up here, and also these Velcro straps. So if you undo the Velcro straps and you pull this one strap here, which is connected to both clasps, it just comes off in one go. See, that's the mechanism. And then you just do that. I can't say too much about the quality of these bags. I mean, they feel sturdily made. This seems like seatbelt material actually, so that's going to be very strong. They do seem a little bit pricey. I believe these are $170 each, and then I think the rack's like 80 something. Most of the other mods, like you can get a tray for the back and a tray for the front, these all seem to be about 200 a pop. So per mod, about 200 quid. One of my patrons requested to see what the charger for this bike looks like. There it is. It weighs 2.5 kilos. And I said earlier on about it being a backpack job. You obviously wouldn't need to do that if you've got some way of storing it on here. So I'd say it is a 50cc equivalent, so it is limited to 28 miles an hour, and that is all it will do is 28 miles an hour. I once got 34 out of it down a hill, but otherwise it just level does 27, 28 miles an hour. The range is claimed to be up to 75 miles. I believe that 75 miles must be going on a very flat, dusty track at slower speeds for a long time. Opposed to what I did, because I did a range test and I rode at 30 everywhere. I also went up some pretty big hills and stuff, and that's really going to eat on the mileage. So this isn't as bad as it might sound, but I got 41. I'm also 6'4" and a big guy, so I really pushed this. But even really pushing it like that, going up and down those really steep hills, you can watch my range test video to see what I did in it. And I really did get to explore around. Yeah, 41 miles. The battery is removable. This weighs about 17 kilos. There's just a Velcro strap holding it down. The charge point is this side that I can't really show you too easily. It's just like a round bayonet, and the charger brick for it is about yay big. So you could put it in your backpack, but it is very heavy. Charge time on this is around 6 to 8 hours for a full charge. I did actually remove the battery in the range test video if you want to see it physically, but you know, you just unplug this plug here, undo that strap, and it lifts straight out. The seat goes up to help you with that. And there is a toolkit under there, which I need to show you because we need to talk about the next thing. Bits and pieces on this bike. You may notice that those are mountain bike suspension forks, and indeed the brakes and the rear shocks, and I thought £5,000 and half of it is mountain bike stuff. That seems silly. No, these are great forks. They've got adjustment for the rebound on this side, you've got compression, the preload adjustment on the other side. These you can adjust the preload by just spinning them, and they've also got little red adjusters to adjust the dampening on those. They're really good forks, and they're very tunable for whether you want to be on the road or whether you want to be on really bumpy stuff and you need more softness. So, I thought £5,000 seems a lot. Mountain bike stuff, really? No, it's good quality stuff and it's beefy. I've probably beaten this little bike around. Braking force wise, no problem. Parts wise, probably a bit cheaper. The only downside is if we look in here, that tray is the most useful thing in the world. This is your little toolkit you get. These are the brake pads that this bike uses. Now, I don't know how long those are going to last. because most cycle brakes are 4, 5, 6 times bigger than that, even on a 125, and the thickness of material on them is about 3 times as much. So I fear you might have to change the brake pads a lot on this, but I don't know because I haven't had it long enough to do that. As I say, you have got 2-wheel drive, so you've got 2 hub motors. That does add to the cost. Batteries are not cheap. It still seems quite expensive, but I will say that the build makes up for it. It's solid as hell. This frame is an absolute rock solid frame, and everything that gets bolted onto it, you know, you've got so many different attachment points for putting different things on. They do different models of this bike. It's actually really impressive, and if you said it was 4,000, I'd be like, yeah, that's really good. But because it's 5, and then these bits are a bit extra, you're like, that's quite expensive. But we are still early days in electrics. And realistically, people buying this, I don't think are trying to use it as a replacement for a 50cc petrol scooter for everyday use, unless it's just local everyday use. I think this is more for people that maybe want to go fishing, camping, in their local area, a bit of trailing. High beam, low beam, switches here. I was a little concerned about the fact that if you put stuff in here, when I first got it, it was aimed down, and it was like, that blocks it. This light moves up and down very easily, so you can get it where you need it. Indicators left and right, they do beep when you're doing that, and it's push to cancel. Horn, well hang on, there's a power button, so you press it once, light comes on. There you go, there's the horn. And if you want to rise, you just press it again, green light comes on, beep beep, and you can go. Your battery is shown on this side of the screen. Time is here, speed is here, temperature of the bike is there, and your power that you're using plus regen is displayed this side, but you don't, just look at the speed, that's all you really care about, well, and the temperature. Now, because these are mountain bike brakes, these are mountain bike levers, and they're actually okay. The only weird thing about them is how much like squidge there is movement before anything happens. Now, when it comes to like ignitions and on switches on these bikes, I believe it's different. This does actually have a steering lock here, but there is no keyhole to turn it on and off. You just turn them on. I think different models have keys, but this is one of their demo bikes, so it's not like the standard ones you sell, so I don't actually know what that side of it is like. Okay, so that is all the facts and figures I think you're going to want to know. Range, price, and everything. The important thing is, what is it like to ride? And the answer to that is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Now, the 2-wheel drive thing is very interesting, because you can get into deep sand, and it just sort of tractors its way through it without any problems. But it is also a bit of something you have to get used to, because the bike does suddenly shoot off in the direction of the front wheel. It does seem to actually lead with the front wheel a little bit. Because if I try and pull away on some dirt, I'm going to get a front wheel spin. You can just go pretty much over anything. Even gravel's interesting, because as I say, it grips and goes the direction you tell it to. You give it throttle and it goes that way. You've actually got control over the front end. So much so that when you pull away, can you see how it slides around? Like pivots. It's brilliant. So 2-wheel drive is a huge difference, you know, but what the actual real world difference is to you as a rider is that on off-road stuff, it pulls the direction you want to go. The front wheel isn't pushed through it by the rear wheel. So it's really controllable. And although you kind of feel like you're all over the place, you can just trust the bike to kind of stay up and do what you ask it to. Okay, so top speed, as I mentioned, was 27 miles an hour. It may peak to 28 for a moment, but it will then go back to 27. And because this is limited by its speed, not its power as such, if you go down a hill, it's going to adjust the speed down, so you're doing 27, and when you go back up the other side, it will increase the power, so you're doing 27. So you're in a very strange scenario where you go down and up hills, and the speed never adjusts, it's just flat 27. As the battery depletes, you don't lose top speed. All that happens is you lose poke, so you don't get up to 27 quite as quickly, but it's reasonable still. As I talked about in my range test, that battery monitor on the side is a little bit, it's not how I would like it to have been done. It basically adjusts for whatever you're riding at a certain time. So during my range test, there were times that it said I had half a battery, then it went down to virtually nothing, then it showed me nothing, then it showed me 1 bar, then it went back up to like 4 bars. It adjusts for what you're currently kind of doing, which doesn't help you if you know you have a longer range bit to do ahead. I would prefer it to just have a percentage, and then I'll work out how quickly it goes down at what speeds. At the end of the day, I'm doing 30 everywhere, so it should be pretty much uniform as it goes down. Handling is nice on this. It is a very light bike. It only weighs 63 kilos. And yes, that does mean I can just physically pick this thing up. I did that in one of the other videos where I needed to turn it around and just picked it up. It actually makes more noise than most of the little electrics I've had of this size, probably because it's got two motors. But people do hear this one more than some of the others. Now back to the brakes. I believe because this is a 50cc, it doesn't actually need to have any anti-lock or linked brakes. So the brakes on this will just lock up if you grab them. The front one doesn't seem to want to do that, but the rear one, it locks up easy, and that's fun. You want it to skid around. But if you actually do need to just stop, they're pretty good at it. So I've told you the facts and figures, you've seen what it can do on the road. The only point to add on to this, to sort of make this bike what it is to try and get across how much fun this is to just buzz around on. It's funny, the little buzzy sounds, trying to, keep up the speed because it's going to slow down. You've only got 27 miles an hour anyway. Trying to carry that through corners, flying off the road, going over anything you want. Little challenges of like, can it go up that? Huge fun. Ginormous fun for me. I really wanted to take this green laning, and I think it would be absolutely fantastic for that. But unfortunately, the way I would have to go green laning on this would require me to go on a 60 mile an hour road, and I am not willing to go 27 in a 60. Not on that road specifically as well, because people do 70 odd, and there's crests of blind hills and all sorts of stuff. I just don't want to find a car coming up behind me at 40 over what I'm doing. One of the really good things about these electrics though, the utility of them. I own petrol bikes, that's what I ride, but I do like electrics. But one of the things I like the most about the little electrics, and this has done it better than all the others so far, is just something to pop to the shops or just shoot down the road or go out for an hour and just get some fresh air. Not having to warm it up, just jumping on it and going. This thing's absolutely great. Sorry, I know I keep coming back down to these car parks, but this sort of ground is absolutely what these things are intended for. Sand, gravel, bumps. And that's proven out by the fact that these bikes have had quite a bit of success in places like Spain, I believe, where companies have bought up, a load of them, and then people can rent them for a day and go out with all their mates. So it's a bit like the scooter rental, but it's trail bike electric. And honestly, this is much better for most people. If someone didn't know how to ride a bike at all, or just a push bike, should we say, or maybe they've even used an electric push bike, and I said, what would be better for someone to learn and go and explore and have fun on? This or a petrol 50cc ped? This all day long. And that's why I love it. It's absolutely great. The only thing is, as I say, it does kind of, at first to me, it seemed like it was 1.5 electric push bikes, and you can buy an electric push bike for about $2,000, and it'll do 50 odd miles, do a similar sort of speed, don't need insurance, don't need a license. You can take it anywhere you want, and when I say that, I mean like through the park, because it's not a road registered vehicle, but you can take it on the road as well, whereas in this you shouldn't take it through the park because it's a registered bike with a plate. Another thing that is a plus for this is that I did wonder what it would be like to put a lot of weight up front, if it was going to change the feel of the front of the bike. We were having a barbecue the other night, so I went and bought a 8 kilo bag of charcoal, chucked it in the front there with a ratchet strap just holding it down, and it actually improved the handling. Having extra weight over the front of these shocks and over that front wheel, because it kind of leads the power in with the front wheel first rather than the rear, it actually felt quite good. It was less bouncy, it felt more solid feeling. So this bike, I think, has been designed with the idea of it actually being loaded up. So I mean, you literally can ride this like it's a push bike. Also, balance and slow control on this is very easy because it's so light, and also because the front wheel goes where you want it to go. See, I thought two-wheel drive would be more of a revelation, more of a learning curve, and actually no, it's completely intuitive how it works. Other than the bit, as I say, when you're pulling away, it kind of pulls you tighter sideways. I didn't see that one coming because I didn't expect it to wheel spin off the spot. But again, I think that might have something to do with the fact that they kind of had the idea of weight being in the front of this. Or if you're wondering why this has got a cracked mirror, this was dropped inside of a van, and that's the only thing that is even noticeable, is one chipped mirror. Okay, well, it looks like we're going to have to try and overtake. Let's go! Ciao! One of the big benefits this has actually got over the electric push bikes is the fact that you don't have to have pedals. In the UK, if you want to have an electric push bike, it has to be pedal assisted for it to work. Well, if you don't want to keep moving your legs, even though you're not putting any real effort in, or have an illegal bike which is adapted, then this is twist and go, and you can't get that without a license. Well, CBT. Well, there we go. Between all the other videos that I've made and this video, I've given you all the facts and figures, costs, what's on the bike, I've done a range test, I've shown you how much fun it is. It is massive fun. I even took this on some little BMX dirt jumps. It is pricey, but it is really good for what it is, and in the market, it is still a little bit pricey, but then there's nothing quite like it, and if you want something to actually, you know, go camping with and have all this extra space, it is good. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. If you want to support this channel, please consider doing that through Patreon or one of the other ways, links in the description. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do that. I review lots of bikes, petrol, electric, big and small. In fact, the next electric I've got, oh, it's a special one. Shall I tell you? Nah. Catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.